Coming up in tonight's bulletin. The country's economic growth remains slow, with projections showing only around 2.7% growth for this year and 2.6% growth for next year. The Lowy Institute Pacific Aid Map 2025 was launched today in Honiara. And communities in Dedeo and Varagia will now have easier access to essential health care following the soft launch of the new Deva Rural Health Clinic. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Andrea Maahanwa. Central Bank Governor Dr. Luke Forau says Solomon Islands must push for at least 5% economic growth in the coming years, warning that current projections show the economy expanding at less than 3%. Simon Tavake reports.
The country's economic growth remains slow, with projections showing only around 2.7% growth for this year and 2.6% growth for next year. The governor of the Central Bank of Solomon Islands, Dr. Luke Forau, revealed this during CBS's appearance before the Public Accounts Committee today during its inquiry into the 2026 Appropriation Bill 2025. He said the current growth rate is not impressive and that the country should aim for at least 5% growth in the coming years. He explained that to reach this target, there must be a shift from short-term activities to long-term drivers of productivity, particularly in key sectors such as agriculture, fisheries, and mining.
In terms of growth, we are projecting something of around 2.7% for this year, 2.6% next year, and into the medium to long term is around, on average, 2.5%. Chairman, you will know that this is not a very impressive growth rate. We would like to see a growth rate at least a minimum of 5%. And there are a couple of things that we want to ensure that we reach that 5%, and to note also that we are in preparation to graduate from LDC by 2027, but in my humble view, I don't think that we will graduate, given the development trajectory that we are in at the moment. That said, perhaps some policy priorities we could focus on is achieving higher growth requires shift from short-term activity towards the long-term drivers of productivity and resilience. And the key sectors that I'm looking at, and I'm still advocating for it, is mainly the agriculture sector. I don't think that we have reached the potential for the agriculture sector, and I still think that we can still do better than what we are currently doing. In the agricultural sector, fishing, and of course mining as well is coming up.
The CBSI governor also emphasized the importance of establishing a sovereign wealth fund, supported by proper legislation to ensure its effective management and transparency.
In saying that, Chairman, there's also this idea of establishing a sovereign wealth fund that I think the government is in talking at the moment. And from my perspective, I think it's about time to establish such fund, especially when we have the mineral sector that is coming up. We did not do well in the logging sector, so this would be a good start to have that. And of course, the fishing sector too, that's one area that we can also derive the fowl, where we can get revenue for the sovereign wealth fund. But to start off with this fund, I think it would be good to have a legislation in place to govern the management and operation of such fund.
SIBC TV understands the 2026 Appropriation Bill 2025 seeks to authorize government expenditure of more than 5 billion Solomon dollars for the services of the government in 2026. I'm Simon Tavake for SIBC TV.
The Lowy Institute Pacific Aid Map 2025 was launched today in Honiara. Sharon Anau reports.
The Lowy Institute Pacific Aid Map 2025 was launched today here at the Heritage Park Hotel in Honiara. The report comes as major donor partners of the Pacific Island countries sees major cuts in their aid budget. The report looks at financial assistance delivered by the donor partners across the region. Speaking to local media, Pacific Aid Map 2025 co-author Riley Duke says the report major findings is that while global aid is tightening, the Pacific region is relatively protected from these cuts. That's largely because a few major partners, especially Australia, which provides about 43% of all development assistance to the Pacific, are maintaining or even slightly increasing their support.
The map itself is this tool that takes all of the development money that comes into the Pacific and we make it easy to understand. And we get all the money that Australia provides, that the World Bank provides, that little partners and big partners provide, and we put all of it onto this big database. The big story that we've had this year has been that lots of development partners to the Pacific, some key ones have said that they're going to cut back on aid. So we wanted to do work to say, what did the outlook look like for the Pacific? And the simplest version of that story is that the Pacific is actually going to be more protected from global aid cuts than probably every other developing region in the world. And that's for a few reasons, but the main one is that the Pacific has a few very big partners, and those partners aren't cutting back their aid. So Australia provides 43% of all of the development support to the Pacific, and its support is going to be stable, and it's going to have some growth, on top of its aid budget through from some big infrastructure projects from another part of the Department of Foreign Affairs. The outlook is looking more cloudy when it comes to development partners, the multilaterals, because if on the horizon, if the United States, for example, if it cuts its support to those organisations, then we're going to see a tighter financing outlook.
Meanwhile, Australia's Deputy High Commissioner to Solomon Islands says the report helps governments and the region to know where the aid donors are spending their aid.
So first of all, not all donors publicise or are transparent in what assistance they provide to partner countries. For some donors, you don't really know what they're doing. They don't put that on their website. So the report helps governments, institutions, civil society and the people of the Pacific have a clearer understanding of where the aid is going, by whom and under what terms. And second, by improving the transparency of donor expenditure, the Pacific Aid Map promotes greater donor coordination, elevates accountability for funding flows, and provides a basis for evidence-based decision-making and policy debate on development cooperation.
Ministry of National Planning and Aid Development Coordination Permanent Secretary says the report confirms data already with the ministry.
I think this presentation too has been useful in a way that has reconfirming some of the data you may in Peninsula country, also donor support. Also recent review below National Development Strategy Blumi and shown that about 60% below development budget Blumi and financed by donors for the past 10 years. So I'm showing that one too. I think thirdly is that what you may look in this time is decline, global decline low donor partner support, especially decline low US government support, New Zealand, UK, but Australia I'm still maintaining support blame.
The annual Pacific Aid Map by Lowy Institute was launched in 2018. It is a comprehensive database tracking official finance flow by donor partners into the Pacific region. Sharon Nanal for SIBC TV.
Communities in Dedeo and Varagia will now have easier access to essential health care following the soft launch of the new Deva Rural Health Clinic. Alex Dadamo reports.
Communities in Dedeo and Varagia will now have easy access to essential health care following the soft launch of the new Deva Rural Health Clinic on Wednesday. Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele joined national and provincial leaders in Isabel Province to witness the clinic's soft launch.
So this morning, we're happy to be here for joining with Allah in celebrating the official opening of this new facility the Deva Rural Health Clinic.
Mi save tok Tumas lohem and manu lisin lo parliament, but mi save tok lemno health infrastructure. And today, me bara happy Tumas that we open one. Here, no, this is the first one. Me open him as a Minister of Health.
The establishment of the new clinic brings the total number of registered health facilities in Isabel Province to 35.
Promoting good health is a shared responsibility. Individuals, families and communities have the primary responsibility to ensure there is clean water, food, shelter, proper hygiene and sanitary practices to prevent the emergence of diseases or the sicky. The government has that broader role in creating the enabling environment, including the delivery of basic health services. Health facilities are important as they are wellness hubs, where health professionals diagnose and treat people with diseases, and where community-based activities are coordinated and launched.
The new Deva Rural Health Clinic is expected to open to the public once installations and staffing are completed. The project was funded through the Ministry of Health and Medical Services 2024 development budget with support from the Isabel Provincial Government, landowners and community leaders. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
The public is being encouraged to grow more backyard vegetable gardens and eat local foods as diabetes cases continue to rise sharply in the country. Alex Dadamu reports.
The public has been urged to make local backyard vegetable gardens to eat more local foods. The call made by Julia Richardson Daifoni, the national facilitator of the Non-Communicable Diseases NCD program, comes as the number of diabetic cases at the National Referral Hospital increases at an alarming rate.
We must not stop for say that continue for doing exercise and kakam a lot of healthy kaikai blo yumi, kaikai lo garden, yeah? So cassava, potato, vegetables and fruits, and start planting kaikai lo house. Make them, depend too much or pay too much lo market, yeah? So make them small garden inside lo house no more. Make them planting a little bit cassava, cucumber, tomato. It's part of a health against the NCD now, especially diabetes and high blood pressure and cancer. So this is my message to the Goloyu. And exercise a little bit. Walk about round so that you can sweat out, so that sugar can be dropped too. You stay too much low house and you say you got vegetable and still not healthy. You must exercise as well. So I think have at least 30 minutes every day. I can say this message to the community in Honiara or even in the provinces. Suppose you hear a message that me give him right now. I must say that diabetes is on the rise. Number of people cut a leg, have high too much. Number of people having cancer is on the rise. Number of people with other problems like dental and eye am on the rise because of diabetes, sick sugar. Yeah, so people they sick with sugar, they come to the clinic, it's already complicated. So my message is, if you got time, you can come down to the clinics. We have 9 clinics in the Honiara city. They provide the same services for check for sugar and high blood pressure. So I think have no message me like for talent so that you can be detected early and prevented early for that one.
The World Bank collection of development indicators pointed out that diabetes prevalence with people between the age of 20 to 79 in Solomon Islands sits at 12% in 2024. SIBC News understands that tomorrow is the World Diabetes Day. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
As non-communicable diseases, NCDs, continue to affect countless Solomon Islanders, experts are exploring effective strategies to combat the issue. Last week, the Solomon Islands National University hosted the Pacific Island Food Revolution Seminar, bringing together students, staff, and members of the public to discuss how Indigenous foods and knowledge can help fight NCDs in the country. Award-winning chef and founder of the Pacific Island Food Revolution, Robert Oliver, was the key presenter at the event. Speaking to SIBC TV from New Zealand, Oliver shares more insight into the event and his work with SINO.
I was invited by Dr. Transform Angarao and Dr. Edgar Pollard. And Dr. Pollard is the director of the Centre for Island Futures, which is a subsidiary of SINU. And I was really, I've been corresponding with both gentlemen for some time. There's a real alignment in the way that we think in terms of Pacific solutions for Pacific problems, the Indigenous ideologies being the way forward for the future, not just for the Pacific, but for the world, actually. Centre for Island Futures is developing modules around, I guess you'd say education, but also development in terms of how do we address the challenges facing our islands. And the food piece is big because food intersects not just with what you eat intersects with climate change, health, but also tourism brand, biodiversity, culture and heritage. It intersects with all those sectors.
Oliver also took part in the inaugural Solomon Island Food Systems Council meeting, an initiative developed by Dr. Edgar Pollard, director of the Centre for Islands Futures.
So we had a meeting, an inaugural meeting, really to get to know each other, and I was super impressed at that. And then at a masterclass that we had the following day, hosted by myself and Dr. Gillian Tutua, around the quality of leadership in the Solomon Islands, in farming, in health, in all those places that food plays, all those parts of the food system. There's really incredible leadership there. And at both of these meetings, I felt the real love of the people attending for their islands, for their people. And you can do magic with that. That's where change happens. That's where movements emerge from, is love and a love of community. So I left the Solomon Islands really inspired and really keen to work with the Centre for Island Futures.
He encouraged young Solomon Islanders to utilize their digital skills to promote Indigenous cuisine and healthy food options.
I would say young people who are much better at social media than older people like me are, we need you. We need you to be creating these, beautiful, exciting images and messages around your food. And it's in your hands. I think all of us guys who are a couple of generations older can support that kind of effort. And I just the 2 or 3 people that I've met in the Solomons who are doing media are really good at it, and they've got great followings and stuff. So the appetite is there. We can do this. It's not impossible. It's delicious. It's fun. It's who you are. You don't need to change anything. You can actually be the change.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.